looking at the sales process or a typical customer journey or a buyer's journey that the customers go on from not being aware of your company at all to being aware of them, to considering your value proposition or the value or the USP of your product, services, or business, to evaluating it, to eventually making that decision and making a purchase. So, you know, that is the typical journey that the customers do go on. So let's expand on that, and let's look at that customer journey from a traditional sales model or traditional selling funnel or process, and we'll compare that to a social selling sales funnel or process. So let's look at a traditional selling process. So this graphic shows, a traditional route, I guess, and the goal of this process is from bringing people from awareness to a purchase decision. You can see along the bottom, but the goal here is to make the sale, and that is the end goal here. Where companies and start off marketing, I guess, and the marketing team start at the very beginning with an ideal client in mind, but maybe a fairly wide net. They use maybe a number of marketing activities to generate awareness of their products and services and so on, whether it's traditional means, trade magazines, newspapers, outdoor advertising, and so on, PR activities that maybe attend trade shows when hopefully things get back up and running. And they'll maybe dabble in some digital marketing, websites, maybe some social media, online PR, and various other methods. There'll also be an advertising element to the marketing team where they are maybe running Google Ads. They're directing people to their website for filling out lead forms and inbound sales leads and so on. So there'll be a bit of targeting and a bit of cohesive sort of strategy there. And then those, I suppose, marketing and advertising tactics generate leads. These leads are then followed up and handed over to sales representatives where they make the sales calls, or they'll have sales meetings, and they'll take place. There'll also be an element of proactive sales going on too. So there'll be a sales team or a business development manager or executive, which is maybe proactively making cold calls or telesales, working off prospect lists or databases of potential customers or previous customers that maybe they can then resell to. So that, I suppose, is typically how a lot of B2B companies function traditionally. That's what their sales processes look like in general terms. It's maybe obviously more complex than that, but what that does, that primarily involves outbound marketing, outbound selling, outbound sales, and so on. And that's where companies are targeting people with information that they're pushing out there. It's information that the companies want prospective customers to know about their products and services. And if it's done right, with proper segmentation, advanced targeting, and in a strategic way, that can be highly effective. The structure has worked in the past. I'm sure most B2B companies on here today can probably testify to a model like that or a similar model to that, and it does work. One thing I would say is that it does have some drawbacks. It can be quite expensive to do it that way. A lot of investment in marketing, a lot of investment in sales representatives and salaries and so on. So one of the key things as well is that it maybe just doesn't bring us high quality of lead, because sometimes there isn't a lot of, well, with the greatest respect, a lot of listening to the wants and needs of the customer. Sometimes it can be all about pushing that content out there and pushing that sales document or the product sheet or whatever it is, pushing it out there rather than listening to the wants and needs and of the customer. And that's maybe where the social selling aspect comes in. I know that was a bit of a broad statement, but sometimes that can be the case. So let's compare that traditional selling route to a social selling route or social selling funnel.